And just like that, out of nowhere, we just got a ginormous new leak about the next mainline project of Pokemon, meaning the next mainline Pokemon game after Gen 10. So this leak I'm covering today is big. Now, this dropped yesterday, and I just have had time to think about it. I've had time to dwell on it and think about what this could entirely mean. And right off the bat, I want to say most people are thinking this is a Legends Johto game, or this could be some sort of Gen 10 DLC. And honestly, I'm on the fence with both of those options. I feel like they could potentially be a Legends Johto, which would be awesome. But that would imply that Legends Galar is canceled. That means Legends Galar might not actually happen anymore. And just a quick recap, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, why I'm even saying Legends Galar, well, basically we had the Terror leak, which was a huge leak of literally terabytes of Game Freak data that showed us that Legends Galar is a real game that they were working on, at least as of, I think, about 2-ish years ago. So Legends Galar still could come out, and this stuff I'm talking about could be a totally different game. But basically, here's a leak right here. We have Ball Guy saying, before this week's announcements, let's take a moment to look forward to the next mainline project, Project Karasu. Karasu, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, actually means crow or raven in English. And of course, he posted a picture of Murkrow. Murkrow is from Generation 2 or Johto, because Gen 2 is obviously the Johto region. We have Amashinu saying Black and White 3. That would be awesome. Honestly, anything is a possibility. That's what's so cool about this, is that anything is a possibility. Somebody asking like if Ringo got delayed, which Ringo is the codename for Pokemon Legends Galar. Somebody said they replaced Legends Galar with Legends Johto, you know, partying. And one of the most important things to remember with this is they said mainline, so it's not a spinoff. Like Pokopia is a spinoff, so it won't be something like Pokopia. This will be some sort of new generation or new Legends games, because Legends games are mainline games. A lot of people say they're not, but they actually are mainline projects. And he did say project, which technically does mean this could actually be the Generation 10 DLC. What we know about like the future of DLCs is that like they low-key don't want to do it. Like Game Freak, they don't care, because according to them, they don't make enough money from the DLC content. So with that being said, maybe this is just focusing more on the Gen 10 DLC. Let's just hope that they do not announce the Gen 10 DLC for Pokemon Day, because we know how they are. They announced Legends ZA DLC before the game even came out. So, I mean, anything is up in the air for real. Legends Johto would be awesome, and here's something that I think a lot of people actually forgot about, is that Legends 2 was supposed to actually be Gen 2, meaning the second Legends game was supposed to be a Johto region-based game. When I said we got Legends ZA, I was excited to go back to Kalos. I really do like Kalos, but I have always wanted a Legends Celebi, Legends Johto, just something with Generation 2, right? Now, this information is all from PokeOS, which is a fantastic website, very slept on. So you can see right here, this is from the Terror League talking all about a Pokemon Legends title that was actually supposed to be taking place in the Johto region. Apparently, it was planned to release in 2024. And there would have actually been 2 versions of this game, Ho-Oh and Lugia. So they would have done the same type of thing like they do with all the new generations, dropping 2 different versions, which I like the idea of the Legends game just being one version, not the split versions. I think that's great. Keep the regular new generations as the split copies, but the Legends game, it just makes it so much easier to keep it as one simple version. This would have had expanded online multiplayer features with 4-player co-op. Basically, they just wanted more sales by releasing 2 versions. That's essentially the only reason. And now here are some pictures of it. Dude, this would have been awesome, and it still might actually happen. So we would use Pokemon directly rather than train them in the modern sense. The whole narrative would have been about reviving the legendary Pokemon that are deeply tied into Johto's mythology, and the game aimed to solidify the Legend series as a long-term sub-franchise. So, at least as of a couple years ago when they were planning this, they were planning on the Legend series still just carrying on for years and years, which I still think they are. Like, I don't think it's going to end after the 3rd Legends game. I still think we're going to get a Legends 4 and a Legends 5. I mean, think about it. We literally have all of the other generations to talk about here. And literally in a couple of days, we will have a total of 10 generations. Well, technically, I mean, I guess you could say November, but in a couple of days, they're going to announce Gen 10. So apparently the protagonist falls through time. Sounds awesome to me, especially with Celebi. Celebi's, you know, the time travel Pokemon. So I'm assuming Celebi would have been a big plot point and a big, you know, Pokemon main character in the story. At least I would hope so. The major story location was the Burn Tower, shown before the Great Fire that destroyed it 150 years before Gold and Silver, which are the first Gen 2 games. The tower was depicted as a 9-story structure, architecturally identical to the Bell Tower, strongly implying a shared origin and mythological link between the 2 towers. Basically, just more lore about Ho-Oh and Lugia and the Brass Tower's destruction, but eventually it was canceled and completely changed to Legends ZA to Kalos with a whole new focus, which is very interesting. And that is pretty much all we know. Like, the Terror League information about this game is not that big. And in my opinion, if you're gonna ask me, I think if they did actually do a Legends Johto, I think they'd rewrite the storyline again. I don't think they would use the same storyline. I think they would do something completely new. Let me know your thoughts and theories about what they could actually do. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and help me reach my goal of 50,000 subscribers, and so you don't miss all the news about Pokemon leaks and updates. Make sure to be here Friday morning for Pokemon Day. I will be live streaming. It is going to be amazing. It is going to be so hyped, so make sure to be there. We also had a leak a couple of weeks ago that I covered that I instantly thought of when I saw this tweet originally, because of the fact that Ball Guy talked about Legends 3, and it's up in there like what Legends 3 is even going to be. So we had this post saying that there's a leak rumor that implies that the ZA sales were bad and that Game Freak is canceling Legends series, which I hope is not true. I love the Legends series, and most people that have played them love them. And their sales, I mean, they're not bad, right? Compared to like the new generations, sure, I guess if you're comparing it, but as a video game, they do pretty well. And then somebody asked Ball Guy if they are going to stop Ringo development. Ball Guy then said Legends 3 is still in production. Does not necessarily make the information untrue for future titles, most likely misinterpreted. A lot of people think that the Japan MMO game after Legends 3 has been scrapped entirely. Do you know if this is the case, or if the project is still in development along Legends Galar? Around 2025 of August, it was still in research and development, meaning they are still planning a Legends 3 as of August 2025, which isn't that long ago. But nowhere in this tweet did Ball Guy ever mention Galar. He did not mention the Galar region at all, so he just said Legends 3 is still in production, meaning it could be anything. It could be Gen 5 related, which I hope. I would love the Unova region. It could even be Alola, but I kind of do think it's leaning towards the Johto region. We also had this whole post from SoulSilver Art, who, like I always say, makes some amazing posts. Project Karasu and Murkrow is apparently the next mainline project, a name that was not in the Terror League. So the Terror League information did not talk about this. That's why this is such big news, is because we don't know about this. We have no idea what this could be. So if that is true, that basically means that the Terror League Game Freak plans may not happen exactly like we think, which I think would be great. I think that would be awesome if we don't know, because I think the Terror League was fantastic, but at the same time, I want to be surprised. Like with this Pokemon Day coming out soon, I want to see reveals that nobody knows about. I want to see something that I have no clue about. So this tweet from Ball Guy, I would say it's unlikely that they're going to announce it or like show it off during this presents, but I think it's possible, unless it's like a Gen 10 DLC or something like that, of course. But I think this is possible. They could just say, this is what we're working on. And I've been bringing up this idea of like, after the presents, like after the big Gen 10 trailer and stuff, they could say, oh wait, one more thing. And then they could just announce the title of the next mainline game that they are working on. No gameplay, no screenshots, no information, literally just the title, and that's it. Anyways, back to SoulSilver Art. He was saying, what could this be? To be honest, anything is possible. Codenames do give little hints to a project, which is true. Codenames don't really mean much for the most part. Karasu means crow in Japanese. Also, I don't think Murkrow isn't here by chance and could be the mascot of the project. Here are the options in my opinion. Karasu is the codename for Gaia Gen 10 DLC. In the Terror League, we did see an unnamed Gaia DLC. However, there's info in the Terror League that suggested that from Scarlet Violet onwards, Dev would be making the base game with programming the DLC in mind. Also, this Karasu name seems newly created. Codename didn't exist in 2024. Lastly, DLC is technically not considered a full mainline game, maybe a project though. Exactly what I was thinking. Quite literally exactly what I was thinking. Could this be a DLC set in Johto? That is possible. That talking about how the new Scarlet and Violet DLC and the ZA DLC weren't technically successful. Scarlet and Violet DLC was good. ZA DLC, debatable, like, you know, kind of grindy, wasn't as good as a Scarlet and Violet DLC in my opinion. What if this is the evolution of the third version, which would be very interesting to see. Ringo 3 could be reworked into Karasu if we're sticking to the Terra League plans. Technically, the next mainline Pokemon game is supposed to be Legends Galar Ringo, because like I said, DLC is technically not a mainline game. So maybe Ringo was cut and it is replaced with Karasu. He then makes the point about a third-party Black and White remake in 2023, 2024 from Ku and other sources. So a lot of people think this could also be a Black and White remake, or just some sort of new Black and White Generation 5 game, I guess. Could Karasu be the secret name Black and White project, no longer made by a third-party company, but by the Game Freak team? In contrast to a crow, Swan was Black and White 2's codename, primarily a white bird. Maybe it replaces the Gaia DLC, maybe it's a remake that releases the same year as the Gaia DLC, or maybe it replaces Ringo as Legends 3. Bottom line, if it changed, what else from the Terror League could change? Which is awesome. I cannot wait to see what else changed. At least, maybe not. I want to see Legends Galar, and I do want to see the Pokemon MMO game. But overall, it would be cool to see like what they do change, just because of the fact that I just want to be surprised. That's literally it. But then we have some posts that he's sharing about Riddler Coup talking about a project that was not exposed from the Terror League on the Switch 2, which is of a black and white dolphin, which is very, very interesting. This was from 2024. I cannot believe. Is the Terror League that old? What? Have I really been talking about this Terror League for that long now? Here's a post from Central Leagues talking about the Scarlet Violet DLC, how the development was over budget, literally more than the entire creation of Legends Arceus, and how 25% of the players from Scarlet Violet bought the DLC. So I guess in Game Freak's eyes, that is not a success, which I mean, I think is still pretty good. I think DLC content is good as long as it's like actually a new storyline and not just kind of a paid extension of the storyline. You know what I mean? I would love to hear your thoughts and theories about this tweet. What do you guys think this means? This is huge, and this gives me so much excitement to just think about the future of Pokemon leaks after Gen 10, you know, after I guess a year from now. Like, what are we going to see? This is awesome, and I would love a Legends Johto game. I would absolutely love it. Another small theory I have, which this one's not very likely, but is a very, very small theory. What if this could mean some sort of Heart Gold and Soul Silver game coming over to the Switch 2? Obviously, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the remakes of Gold and Silver. So technically those games are remakes, but technically they're still mainline games, right? And we did just get Fire Red Leaf Green coming over. So what if this is some sort of like reworked version of Heart Gold and Soul Silver that they're going to bring over eventually, which I still want to make a video about that, but there have been so many other things to talk about. And then Pokemon Day is coming out on Friday, which I probably won't have a new video out that day, but I will be live streaming and stuff, so I could save that theory for another day, I guess. But this is very exciting. Let me know what you guys think about this. And if you guys don't want to miss any news, leaks, or updates about this specifically, or just anything, you know, Pokemon related, like Gen 10, Legends 3, I guess I'll call it now, because maybe it's not Legends Galar, please make sure to subscribe and turn the post notifications to the channel. Let's try to hit 350 likes today, guys. That's a big like goal, but let's try to hit it. And check out the second channel, Fundores Files, where I talk about all things Nintendo, like news, leaks, and updates about all the Nintendo stuff that is not related to Pokemon. If you are real and watching this far in the video, comment down below your favorite flavor of ice cream. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.